Should President Obama get tough on the Chinese for their currency policy? Bruce from California says, you know what, getting tough on China? What a joke, he writes. China owns America. They have been given our entire industrial base. Joining us right now, Charles Bloom, Executive Director of the Fair Currency Coalition, and Ben Ferguson, talk radio host at Icon Network. Great to see you guys. Charles, I'll begin with you. You're of the opinion that more should be done. What can be done?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that it's interesting. We've gotten to the point now where there's a pretty strong consensus that this problem has grown to such proportions that finding a solution is inevitable. And I think we've gone further in realizing that the kind of diplomacy that we've been pursuing now for 7 years has proven empty.
Right.
The IMF has proven impotent in this. So what's left to do? What's left to do is, as Ronald Reagan said, to engage in free and fair trade with free and fair traders. So where the trade's not fair, you use your domestic legislation, which is WTO consistent, to counteract the subsidy that China is conveying to its exports.
But what would be the point, Ben? What would be the point of doing that?
Yeah.
We just kick off a tit-for-tat retaliation program, which no one wants, and certainly at this point in the cycle, no one wants a trade war.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna lose on this issue. You look at China right now; they have how much of our debt? $900+ billion. If this president thinks that he can somehow label them something and they're going to change their ways, he's literally lost his mind in the entire administration. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if the president wants American jobs to come back, he should stop listening to unions who are saying go after China and say, hey, we got to have better markets here and we got to have a better competitive rate when we can pay and not be married to unions that are killing jobs in this country. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that's pushing this president right now. It's not the issue of China's currency he's worried about. It's the issue of Chris Dodd and all these others are running for re-election in November, and they want to look like they're trying to get our jobs back. Well, they should have been working on this years ago to make us more competitive here and not now point the finger at China.
Hey, Charles, let me just ask you, picking up from what Ben was saying, don't you think it's a little odd? In addition to China being our banker, they're growing 5 times faster than we're growing. We're raising taxes. They're hospitable to capital. Don't you think that's a bit curious that we are telling them how to run their economy?
No, what we're trying to tell them is to stick to the international rules that they've agreed to, live up to their obligations. If you think that China is going to succeed by over-investing and over-exporting, then I think lots of people, serious people,
though.
The secretary, they are.
I mean, look at 09. Hold on, look at 09 for a second. They were one of the biggest booming economies, if not the biggest in the world. You can't tell me that what they're doing right now, whether it be an illegal, subsidy for their exports by lowering and devaluing their currency, they're winning right now. But the main reason why they're winning is because they don't deal with unions the way we do, and unions control what we pay here in this country for these types of jobs. That's why they're winning and we're not.
Well, if I could get a word in here, there are a lot of reasons why we have been failing over a long period of time. Okay, we've not invested adequately in this country for a long time. We've got a tax system that gives the wrong kind of incentives regarding saving versus consumption and investing versus borrowing.
Yeah, but how are you going to fix that, Charles, by telling China that?
You do one thing at a time.
Shape up.
Okay? And what we're trying to do is to stick to the internationally agreed rules, to apply a specific trade remedy to an illegal practice. There's no reason and no right for China to retaliate if we follow that approach.
Look at
That's why we chose this approach.
But, sir, they've already started to retaliate. Just yesterday in China, their ambassador was talking about this issue, and he basically was saying, go ahead, America, go ahead and try to label us as a manipulator of currency. Go through the WTO, go through the G20, whatever you want to do, and guess what? You're going to lose. They own $900+ billion of our debt, and they are going to win on this issue. And if we try to do this all because some people want to save their jobs in Washington and get reelected, it's going to have drastic consequences for our economy here because we don't have the cards in our hand to win right now. We just don't.
All right, we're going to leave it there, guys. We're real short on time. I know you disagree. Thanks, guys. We really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us.
Spirited debate.
It's a hot-button issue. We've been debating it for years. This is not going to go away.
Wouldn't it be a good idea to stop